I'm starting to appreciate more and more the power of calmness and calm breathing. Inspired by today, feeling calm even though my brain was sort of manic, maybe, or breathing calm at least, and then breathing calm when I was having some old memories come up, and then I created a nice, beautiful, calm dinner for myself. See? Look at that. Here's an insight on the spot. Don't let the insight speak to you because there is no you. Let it speak through you. Which sounds weird too, because there's still no you when it speaks through you. And my brain already came up with another interpretation for why my breathing could have been calm and slower when I was in this manic-y state in terms of the subjective experience of it. And I wasn't feeling manic as in the typical manifestations of it, maybe, of feeling hedonistic or different things that happen, but I just felt like I was learning a lot and learning from what I was learning, extrapolating. But I've come to appreciate the possibility of the relativistic nature of consciousness and how if the brain is speeded up, if consciousness is speeded up or sped up, I don't know how to say that right, then the body will actually slow in breathing relative to that because consciousness is going faster, which is something that will be more prevalent in the future. So it's sort of gone into this future consciousness. So then, relatively speaking, in the material world, breathing slows down. And the same could be true a little bit when out in the material world in traffic. Consciousness is then sort of lowered down to the consensus level because that's what's one is out and about in. So then breathing speeds up and it's actually faster relative to one's own brain's consciousness or overall level of consciousness. It's hard to say. And then another thing that was interesting, when I was driving to the airport, I was driving some people to the airport. I was only tense breathing and had tense breathing driving to the airport when other people were in the car. Driving back, even though there was a lot of traffic, I didn't have any tense breathing. And also I was driving a much nicer car than I have. And so I'm wondering if part of my tense breathing is driving a crummy car, even though I don't feel like I'm breathing tense, but there could be people projecting tension towards me because even I know what it feels like to see like this old crummy car driving. You're like, I don't want to drive behind that car. And yeah, I didn't have any tension, even though there was a lot of traffic and So that was interesting. And I wonder too if this thinking in terms of correlation and not causation is helping, because correlation is something that's not really time bound. So not too long ago, I felt like I was in a state where I was processing the past, but I didn't make that into, okay, well now I have to process the past for the next number of days. I sat with it and it went away. And then I went on to talking about some other things, and that changed the state, because talking about those things doesn't correlate with that state of processing the past, so it kind of went away. And I'm starting to see the relative nature of time and matter. Like right now I feel I'm back more in like future consciousness, and then before I was in past consciousness. So it was like time travel in consciousness. I was literally in the past years and years ago, 5-10 years ago or something, and now I'm back in like a consciousness that I might have now and in the future. So it's like now and in the future, or now and in the past. So and it's not necessarily future, it's just a higher vibration than the consensus now. Whereas if the vibration was higher, and then that vibration met with where my brain is now, it would be consensus vibration. And it's relative, this level of consciousness, or this vibration of consciousness. And I haven't got to figure it out at all. There's no figuring it out. It's just fascinating. And I made my Tulsi tea, my dream mug. And I was thinking about how designing one's life scaffolding is like a marathon. And I'm sort of glad that consciousness was lowered, because I was about to be like, I'm going to talk about insights, and I'm going to go into those insights now. And this event lowering the consciousness that happened, and I didn't lower my consciousness with the vitamins, was like, remember, safety first. You got to put on your safety harness before you start building the scaffolding. So that's what it reminded me of, and I'm glad for that. So I'm wondering too about this whole power of the breath. Since I've been using this Spire thing, I'm really fascinated by breath. So I'm glad I'm going to 2 breath workshop events tomorrow and the next day. And just being able to breathe through these fluxes in consciousness, and again, not making it about a me, about a linear story. That old story can come back, and then it's experienced, but it's not made into part of the now. So who knows? Like I said, I'm going to start doing a bit more reading and going into the crisis stuff.